2024 begins with a bang. We have Mercury stationing direct on the 1st of January, so things can start really moving more forward for us in more clarity, as Jupiter also just stationed direct on the 30th of December. And then on the 20th of January, we have a very, very big day, as that day Mercury goes out of shadow and the Sun and Pluto conjunct and ingress into Aquarius, which officially marks, to me, the age of Aquarius that we are moving into. And this is also a 20-year transit that will completely transform humanity and the world as we know it. And then we also have on the 13th and 14th of February, which is traditionally Valentine's Day time, we have Mars conjuncting Pluto at this 0 degrees of Aquarius. So this is also a time where we can expect more violence in the world and just more ruthlessness in general, criminal activity. But on a personal level, we could expect ourselves to just feel much more empowered. We can feel more that we have more willpower to push through and to push something forward. But it is important to really use temperance with this intensity at that time. And then on April 20th, we have Jupiter and Uranus conjuncting in the sign of Taurus, which is a rare event. I also cover what this has done in the past in my 2024 astrology highlights video. So I will also link that below so you can check it out if you like. But on a world scale, this is a huge, could be a very huge unexpected event. But with Jupiter involved, we would hope that it could be mostly beneficial and liberating in some way. But of course, this possibly has to do with Taurian, Uranian, and Jupiterian themes. So this leads us to agriculture, food, banking, financial currencies, and so forth. And with the ruler of this conjunction in Taurus, Venus, is currently in Aries at the time of this conjunction. And in Aries, she's actually in the Duad that's ruled by Uranus and Saturn, which is an Aquarian Duad, which again leads us back to the Sun and Pluto ingressing into Aquarius on the 20th of January. And that Aquarian digital energy, and Pluto, again, financial, powerful shifts. And with the Sun, with that initial ingress, I feel it really just indicates more, like a leadership kind of legislation. The 11th house, Aquarius, very much deals with legislation in regards to big financial shifts. And then, of course, we have Mars as the dispositor over Venus, the ruler, at the time of the conjunction is in Pisces, where it's more subdued emotional energy. But it moves into its own sign, Aries, on the 30th of April, which is only 10 days after this conjunction, where it can then move forward with action towards plans. And then we also want to look at what is Venus like when Venus is in Aries, as she is the ruler of this conjunction. Venus in Aries is more aggressive to what she desires. She will very impulsively move towards partnerships and alliances, and she can have us be just more aggressive with our social expression. So that can also give you more of an idea of what can be going on at this time. And then in May, we have, at the end of May, the 25th of May, we have Jupiter ingressing into Gemini. So this is very positive, I feel, as it brings a lot of tolerance between us. It strengthens community, our sense of community and compassion. It makes us more broad-minded, and it also brings in much more information and curiosity at this time, and definitely much more communication. And then this year we still have the nodes in Aries and Libra. So we are moving from the partnership dynamic with the South Node in Libra to the more to exploring the more individual dynamic of North Node in Aries, where we're more also aware of our rights and freedoms and what we want to move and initiate moving forward. This is also the axis of me and the other. This is also the axis of peace and war, love and war, which is what we are facing in the world right now, with Mars and Venus ruling the nodes. Now we will also, and actually you can think back at 2004 and up to June of 2006, the nodes would have been in Aries and Libra at that time. So you can think about connections and themes that you may have had at that time as well. Now we will have eclipses in March, April, September, and October. Now, in my opinion, the April eclipse is going to be one to watch. Of course, we have activation 6 months prior and post with eclipses, so it's not necessarily that day, but that's definitely a theme to watch. We also have our first Pisces eclipse in September, as the nodes will shift to Virgo and Pisces in February, I believe, of 2025. And we have a very fire energy this year, as we have all of our retrogrades in fire signs this year. We have Mercury retrograding in Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. And then we have Mars retrograding at the end of the year, December 6th up until February of 2025. And this Leo house has been really a big theme for you in your chart, as we had the Mercury retrograde there in August of 2024. 2023, we had Venus retrograding in Leo. And now we will have Mars retrograding there as well at the end of the year. So the Leo house is going through some transformations, definitely. And we are definitely learning about standing in our autonomy and our sovereignty with all this fire element going on. So this year I really feel like there's very much a theme of blue and red, with the Aquarian emphasis and the fire emphasis, and very much that blue and red pill, making big choices, Jupiter and Gemini, choosing sides, the duality of Gemini as well, and the mental energy of such a strong Aquarius, and then also Jupiter moving into Gemini this year. So there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of decision making, moving forwards with that North Node in Aries, initiating. And this really is a year where we have the courage to pursue our passions with conviction. And we are marking our uniqueness, our unique differences, which strengthens our communities. And it strengthens us in humanity as a whole. And through this strengthening, we allow room for creative innovation, which once again propels us forward and helps us to move upwards, upgrading more, which is also Aquarius. And this is all while we are protecting our individuality in the face of huge earth and cosmic shifts. I would also highly recommend taking good care of your lymph this year, your lymphatic system, your immune system, and also cleansing the blood regularly and detoxing. So I would highly recommend suggesting supportive herbs such as holy basil, turmeric, milk thistle, and cayenne pepper. This is not medical advice. Have a blessed 2024. Welcome, Aquarius rising. This is your 2023 astrology horoscope potentials. Now, Pluto has been in your 12th house of Capricorn since 2008 and has been there now for 15 years. Pluto usually begins by breaking down the area of life it moves through and then rebuilding it transformed and renewed and aligned with your truth. The area of life that Pluto moves through will bring power and control issues into your awareness. You will relearn and redo power and control in that area of your life. And you have been passing through Pluto's complete transformation since 2008 in the area of self-sabotage, mental health, endings, and spirituality, and also faraway places. Now, Pluto here can break down unhealthy psychological patterns that subconsciously controls you, addictions, and their wound source can be exposed and brought to the surface to deal with and forgive and heal and transform. This can be, too much alcohol or too much work, or does drugs or worry control you? What is it in your life that subconsciously controls you in some way? Therefore, many past issues can be triggered. It can feel as if you're having a powerful effect on others, but that they cannot quite understand you, as if you've come across differently than what you intended. Sometimes this is caused by childish behavior patterns. You can have secret enemies with Pluto here, sexual obsessions or bed pleasures or love affairs, secrets. Pluto here can indicate a death or ending of some sort. It is important to speak to someone now if you feel depressed or like you're alone or in a dark place. But this is a period that you've been through. So for you, you might have already experienced this. Now, some can become much more private and secluded with this transit, which is maybe something you've experienced. Or maybe you felt alienated and rejected by others the last years. The only way you could free yourself from the need for validation and of the subconscious survival patterns that control you is by purging these old patterns. So every time it comes up and it's triggered by someone or something, this is for your own soul's growth, in order to confront it and in order for you to heal it. So it's a great time, it would have been a great time to have gone for therapy and deep psychological healing, or to start new meditation practices. Because it's an important time of rebuilding your sense of self again, so that when Pluto ingresses your first house, you can more powerfully embody who you are. Now, Pluto will ingress into your first house of self, the house of Aquarius, on the 20th of January 2024 for a transit of 20 years. And as it ingresses into Aquarius, it'll be conjoined by the Sun in a very powerful conjunction. Now in 2023, it was here for a brief 3 months, March, April, and May. So you can think back at that time and any connections at that time you could maybe see as this could reappear for you as the Sun and Pluto moves into Aquarius. Now, Pluto will briefly retrograde back into the last degree of Capricorn in September to finalize something in your 12th house that you've been dealing with for these last 15 years. But this year, Pluto officially is in Aquarius, where it will begin to transform the area of your physical body, your sense of self, your approach to life, your perspective on life, and your natural attributes and the power and influence you have over others. Now, with Pluto here for this long transit, you may find that you are becoming a different version of yourself. as it would gradually reshape your personality in a sense. Pluto will bring up everything underneath, any wounds, any healing that needs to be done, especially in relationships, in order for us to heal and transform them. And Pluto here will make you stronger. You will learn more about yourself. You might experience that you have more self-discipline and that you become more realistic and structured, more objective and less emotional. There can be many more intense events with Pluto here. Also in all the main areas of your life, because this is angular for you. So it can affect your work and direction in life. It can affect your personal relationships with your spouse or any close one-on-one partnerships. It can affect your home and family, and then also yourself and your physical health and your sense of self, love and home. But it's very important to realize that you can have a very powerful effect on other people. Sometimes that effect can be wanting to be overly controlling, because you may find that you become more OCD. There's more OCD tendencies with this. So it's important to, when you start noticing that you have quite an intense effect on others, it can be either positive or negative. But if you notice that it's negative, this can be a signal for you to pull it back a bit and to pull it inward. And then you can realize that there needs to be more work done, more transformation done on yourself inwardly before you can go outward into relation with others. But it's important to not abuse your power that you gain right now, because you can gain power with this transit. That's very essential. With Pluto power, it has to be power that's used for the good of all involved, or it will backfire on you. But in some way, you will be gaining power with this transit, even if it's the power to say no to alcohol, or no to an addiction, or no to what no longer serves you. You'll be able to change things that you've never been able to change before about yourself. It's also possible that a parent during this transit can pass or go through a deeply transformational time. Physically, you can also experience life-changing changes if other cycles and transits concur. But this is a time where you will possibly be more obsessive about what you eat and how you start your day. You will become more aware of your physical body and how it supports you. Your close one-on-one relationships and love relationships can be more challenging with Pluto here. This is a self-improvement phase, and it's not always easy. And this is a 20-year phase for you. But it is to get a grip on your life again. You can really be brought to face power and control issues. You will learn here that you cannot force anyone or anything, that you can only control yourself and your own thoughts and actions. You cannot always have your way, and your desires is not always what someone else desires. Some can become self-obsessed or obsessed about how they look, about their physical health, their talents, their attributes. They can maybe want to do permanent changes, like physical surgeries that changes their look permanently, or go for tattooing, that like some kind of permanent physical change. You want to watch for cruelty and force, in control and out of control, powerless and powerful. This is the seesaw of feelings that you could experience here. What is there subconsciously that could be controlling you, that has you in fear of losing someone or something? It's very important to learn here that what is for your best cannot pass you by, and that every person, situation, pain, loss, abandonment, hurt is all there to purify you and to grow and transform you, and to give you an opportunity to take your power back, but in a purified, beautiful way that can also affect the whole of humanity and everyone else that you come into contact with in a beneficial way. You may find it quite difficult to get along with others at times with Pluto here, But Pluto will face you to look at the inner and more spiritual dimensions of your life and of life itself, which you may have avoided. You may get in contact with more deaths in your immediate life, or just in general. Become more aware of life and death, and that will make you live so much more pure and free when you are more aware of those sides of life. But since Pluto will show you that you are not in control, this is a rebirth of self-acceptance, accepting what we cannot control and surrendering the rest to God, who is ultimately in control of everything. Now, Neptune has been in your second house of Pisces since 2011 and will be here until 2025. Now, with Neptune here, you may have experienced a new understanding and reorientation in regards to your values, talents, and material possessions, a spiritualization of your values. It will be important to allow that which must go now to go with the flow of things, to not cling to the material, as Neptune can teach us to allow faith to step in, giving things over to God, surrendering our needs to Him. There can be a change in your occupation or a loss of work for a time, maybe retirement, or a decrease of earnings, or your income can be connected to preaching or making music or some form of artistic endeavor or spiritual direction of sorts. It's important now to not be misled by others in investments or in scams. There's a higher possibility to make mistakes financially, also with property. It's important to not allow the material to own you, to not identify yourself with what you own, what you earn, who you married, or what you do for a living. You may be more inclined to do drugs and alcohol or pharmaceutical drugs, or this may be an issue in a marriage. It will be important now to avoid this and keep escapism to a minimum. Neptune here will teach us that what we really need will always be there. God provides. He even takes care of the birds. Your riches lie on the inside, and we are reminded to gather our riches in heaven and not on earth. Now, Uranus has been in your fourth house of Taurus since 2018 and will be here until 2026. And this is the area of home. Now, you may have been experiencing much changes, genius ideas, innovation, and solutions, and unusual occurrences regarding your home, family, a parent, or your personal, emotional, innermost world. Uranus here can shake up your most personal level of life. There can be unexpected or sudden changes in the home, or relocations, or uncomfortable living or unusual living situations that cause disruption or just feel upsetting at first. You can feel insecure in the home or about where your home is. You can move a lot with Uranus here or travel much. You can feel rebellious or wanting more space and freedom in your home or in your private life. More independence. The emotions you experience now will show you where your work is, where the healing needs to happen, as subconscious, childish behavior patterns can rear its head with Uranus here. And triggering wounds from the past in order for you to mature them, to heal and forgive, to let go of those patterns that don't serve you anymore. You're not that child anymore. You've progressed, you've learned, you've grown. You know, what can you let go of that's heavy, that you don't need to carry forward with you anymore? More discoveries about your past or parents can come out. Some can move with Uranus here. You can deal with an unexpected accident or death in the family or even divorce. It's important now to stay flexible in your living and home situations. If you've had a rigid emotional world or home life that were very structured and planned out, Uranus here can create quite the instability and panic, almost as you would not be used to this up in the air feeling, as if you don't know where you belong all of a sudden. And initially, it can be very uncomfortable or feel very uprooted. Or there may be construction and much work being done or renovating being done at home. Maybe you want to make your home more futuristic, or improve it in some way, or put in an alarm system or some kind of technology. Regardless, Uranus here will want more freedom for you in the home and in the emotional area of your life, and maybe from your parents. Maybe you want to move to a city or into a very high rise of some kind, or you want to move to a place that's completely unconventional. You want to live in a very unconventional way that maybe other people don't support. You will see the world differently after this transit and appreciate what home means in a different way. Maybe it's self sustaining on a farm, and how you want to create home for yourself from here on out. Now, Saturn has been in Pisces from March 2023 in your second house of finances, where Neptune is, and will be here until March of 2025. Now, Saturn here heightens personal detachment and can give you a more objective approach to your work, your income, and your investments. You can become more serious about your work. You can be working very hard on something now, building something, getting much resistance to it possibly, or feeling alone in your vision here, feeling as if you don't have enough time in the day. Some can lose a job or find it difficult to find work. Others can take on a job that possibly require them to have more responsibilities. Or it can indicate building a business or developing new structures that can hold for the future. Sometimes with Saturn here, we can lose possessions, property, or income if we've made material wealth more important than life. These hardships are there to remind us and bring us back to what is really valuable in order to learn and grow and enrich our inner landscapes. Some can feel insecure with this transit, especially if you connect with what you earn and own to your own self-worth. At times, you can feel like you lost control in this area of life, especially with Neptune there as well. Your confidence can be down, or you may find you don't even want to eat at times or speak to anyone. Checking on your thyroid health is good now, as well as being more careful regarding neck injuries, jaw injuries, lower teeth will need more care. You could be working overtime and very hard right now to get your career and way of earning a living to another level. It could be a period where you put in a lot of time but don't really see much results yet, as Saturn is a planet that sort of gives you delayed gratification. If you are working overtime to have sleepless nights over mansions and material things, it's not worth it. You may find your eating and intake habits change. You could become sober with this transit, or cut sugar, or decide not to eat meat. You may be more picky with where you spend your money and who you support when you buy something. Focusing on buying local is a great idea now, but overall it can be a healthier habit transit with more self-discipline in how you earn, save, and spend your money. It's a great time to really assess, what can you cut back that you're spending money on? If you have 3 accounts that give you similar things, or 3 apps that give you similar things, where can you cut back? Where can you streamline more? Where do you need to take things to the next level? Maybe it's a marriage. Maybe it's a skill that you had years ago that you go back to and you refine and you rebuild it and it takes you forward now. It helps you to lay a foundation in some way. Now, Jupiter has been in your fourth house of May 2023 and will be here until end of May 2024. Jupiter in your fourth house is where Uranus is, in the area of home and parents and your private life. Jupiter here can indicate a relocation or a new addition to the family, a birth or a change in the family dynamics and who you live with, a move to a foreign country, or maybe taking in a foreign exchange student, or making money from home, or moving into a much fancier or more beautiful neighborhood or place or house, or a more beautiful place, period. Teaching from home, learning from home. Jupiter here can bring tolerance in the family. It can help to improve your home. It can bring financial support or inheritance. At times it can mean that you'll experience great healing of family relationships, maybe with a parent or a sibling. Sometimes a family member can pass, but this can be a relief, as if the person may have been suffering and now they are liberated from that. There can be a spiritual renewal in the home, a reconnection to faith, to your faith. Jupiter here brings joy and optimism in the home, luck and opportunity to return home or travel to your place of birth. You could be improving your home now and raising its value, buying property overseas, or buying a large property, making big changes, or have a new vision for your home and a new outlook on your past and your childhood, working with the subconscious patterns from the past that you've been purging for the last 15 years and transforming them, turning the page. This transit can also bring you to a place where you can finally put down some roots, feel more at home, comfortable, and supported. It can also bring romance and just luck. And this can also affect a parent. Now, Jupiter will ingress into Gemini, your fifth house of children. You can think back to about, let me just have a look on when that is, as I forgot to put that on here. Jupiter will ingress into Gemini on the 25th of May. So you can think back about 12 years ago, as this is where Jupiter would have been, and you can think back about the connections and the themes back then, as you may in some cases experience similar themes right now, but it's different for everyone. Now, Jupiter here is great for starting a business, your own business, turning a hobby into a business, being creative, getting lucky, going on trips, having more joy in your life, being more optimistic. It can give you more freedom in some area. You could have more foreign or international interests. Jupiter here can bring more joy and optimism. Some can get pregnant with this transit or give birth. Some can meet a new lover that may be quite different from them, or speak another language, or come from a different culture or country, or someone that's more educated or well educated or more wise than maybe what you're used to. You may improve your relationship with your children or spend more time on or around children, maybe teach children here. But Jupiter really supports freely expressing yourself. And with Pluto also entering your first house, I feel this is a very strong theme for you. Growing in your self-confidence, in your own authenticity. It can make more of your interactions also more pleasant. And that's something that you might feel you need with Pluto being in your first house now, where you can have quite an intense effect on others. It's important now to not impose your beliefs onto others, as Jupiter will assist with inspiring tolerance, but can also make you quite jovial and passionate about your belief systems, especially in regards to social reform and politics. A child may perform well in something or achieve something great that you're proud of. You will not want to hide from the world with Jupiter here, but do be cautious of being overbearing. This transit favors freedom, creative expressions, blessings, love, and romance. And also success in self-employment. Now, on the 20th of April, 2024, Jupiter and Uranus will conjunct in Taurus. This is now in your fourth house. This is the house before it gets to this one I just spoke about, which is your fifth house of Gemini. So before it moves into Gemini, it will conjunct Uranus in Taurus. And you can listen to my more in-depth discussion on how this may affect the world in a more positive or negative possibility. You can click on the link in the description box below, where I have my video 2024 astrology highlights, which is the mundane forecast for the collective, really. And for some, this can be a wonderful time of growth, sudden opportunities that enhance freedom and evolution in some way. And this would be in your area of home. But this can also be in regards to Taurian and Uranian themes, international themes, banking, and so forth, food, agriculture. But this is in your fourth house of home, family, parents, the past, memories, your childhood, repressed emotions, excuse me, your most private feelings, your most private world, the things you hide from others. Your subconscious behavior patterns that you've possibly outgrown or need to, your place of birth or origin, the outcome of something, the end of things. I'm just going to take a sip of my tea here. Now Mars will ingress Capricorn, your 12th house of psychological health, on the 4th of January 2024, where you can possibly be working more behind the scenes or more from a distance, in the background, or maybe remotely in a faraway place, or you're maybe taking a break from work, changing how you do things, or taking a much needed holiday or retreat somewhere, where you can work on your inner psychology. During Mars's transit here, you can find that your subconscious behaviors can come out in uncomfortable ways. Hopefully, it will not be that bad, as you've had a 15-year transit of Pluto here in this area. So, but in general, this transit can create strange experiences with people where you communicate in ways that they don't understand, or you're trying to say something, but they're taking it the wrong way, or you just make the wrong impression so much easier, especially if you're impulsive with Mars. So it's important to just be more mindful of how you speak, what you say, and to be more clear so people understand what you really are trying to say. And this is not a great time to sell yourself or to apply for a job, as you could be taken the wrong way. So it's important to avoid upsetting situations and people as well, especially if you're traveling, because you could get in touch with more aggressive people at this time. So be more careful, as you're more accident prone now. Self-sabotaging behavior can be brought up now to work on. If there's something you might have skipped on with this long Pluto transit, it can be brought up and triggered again as in to heal it. You know, this can be an unhealthy sexual obsession, drugs or alcohol, talking badly about others. This is a great time to go for therapy, to work on something by yourself, or to work on yourself, to ask yourself, where am I defeating myself? This is also a great time to channel your pain and work on healing your pain, your emotional turmoil and frustrations. You can really work on a lot of that by helping others or volunteering in a faraway place. Focusing on others' pain and taking care of yourself by bettering yourself through helping others. You know, you can heal a lot of your own iniquities and become whole yourself. Now, Mars will ingress Aquarius on the 13th of February to also conjunct Pluto here powerfully in your first house of self. So this is a time where you do want to be more careful of your physical safety, and you want to make sure you check your vehicle's condition as well and drive much more slower. Your first house of self is where you may feel more energetic now, transformative, experience intense willpower, feel more assertive and action oriented towards your approach and perspective on life and your identity. Mars here can bring an increase in energy, libido, aggressiveness, impulsiveness, energy fluctuations, hormone fluctuations. In some cases, you can act more selfishly with Mars here. If you're a woman, this can sometimes trigger a much more intense menses than usual. Or you can just have a short fuse, possibly not as willing to cooperate or compromise much. So it would be better, therefore, to rather work alone during this time if you can, or more independently, because you'll want your way more. And you may have way more opportunities now, or I would say incidences of arguments and confrontations. And this can affect your whole life as it's angular for you. But you will be able to accomplish a ton now. You're in go-go mode. A new powerful person or man or love interest, or just a new beginning of some kind, or a new work opportunity can present itself now. You're more accident prone now as well, so be more careful. You're more susceptible to health issues, as Mars here makes you more permeable for diseases. So make sure that you're taking better care of yourself, your immune system. Echinacea is a wonderful support herb for the immune system. This can be a great time for adding that to your health routine. This is, of course, not medical advice, so please consult your healthcare practitioner. And you want to also be careful of burns, electrical and technological issues. You want to stay away from intense EMF radiation and just any, too much electronic use as well. You want to take a break from that whenever you can. In some cases, this can invoke powerful emotional catharsis and sexual power or arousal, or being overpowered sexually. So please be careful with where you go and who you meet at this time, as criminals can also be part of this picture. Mars will ingress into Pisces on the 22nd of March in your second house of finances, where you may be taking a practical approach and action towards change in the area of your work, how you earn a living, your committed relationships, your past and your family, and also possibly your diet. Mars here can have you try out more spicy food. It can have you eating faster, speaking faster. Therefore, be more cautious regarding choking. You can feel a lot more busier than usual, weighing your options here. Mars can have you spending more money now, or be more impulsive with your money. For some, this can indicate buying a home or property. You may be working more on your home now, adding comfort and functionality, or cooking more. Some could be thinking of working from home or starting a new business. There can be a higher chance of throat or neck injuries, also jaw injuries and injuries to the lower teeth. Also inflammation and the thyroid would need to be looked at. Arguments can arise here regarding income, financial topics, ownership, property, possessions. You could be deciding on when to take action regarding investments and all the other topics I just mentioned, buying and selling, and also defending your values, your self-worth, and how you identify with what you own. This is all up for growth now, as there's action being taken here. There's an emphasis here for you because you have Saturn and Neptune in this house as well. So remember that you are not what you do or own, and your worth cannot be measured by that. It's a great time to cut any negative ancestral influences and bloodline curses and to transform these from darkness into light, breaking the patterns that no longer serve you. Now Mars will ingress into Aries on the 30th of April in your third house of the mind. And this is where you can experience emotional ups and downs. Sometimes this can involve family, friends, or neighbors or siblings. You could be more busy doing paperwork, overthinking, worrying, making decisions, taking a new learning course, or just actively learning more or teaching or even dealing with new technology or technological issues. You could buy a new vehicle or think about buying one, more everyday busyness with appointments and schedules. You could have more topics like your vehicle condition, your commute to work, and your surrounding neighborhood come up now. There's a possibility for arguments with neighbors, or they may just be more aggressive, or there's more construction in your area. There's more possibility for arguments with neighbors or siblings or friends. But this can also be where you could work on the fence between you and your neighbor and maybe learn to communicate better. There can be more emotional conversation connected to your mother or your home. So this can also be a time where you're working on your speech or your language skills, learning a new language, or have more activity connected to social media or even debates and arguments here. So be more cautious when driving. This is also a time where you could be buying new electronics or working on them. But you're more accident prone now and more impulsive, so you want to watch what you say, as this transit can also have you just use more harsh words due to the more emotional mental stimulation at play. This can also sometimes indicate accidents in regards to siblings, neighbors, or friends. I just want to put that in there as well. Now, Mars will ingress into Taurus on the 9th of June in your fourth house of home. This is where Jupiter and Uranus also sit. But I believe Jupiter will already be in Gemini here. So you will have Uranus sitting here, where you can experience emotional ups and downs. Sometimes this can involve a family member or a parent. This can again trigger something from your past quite explosively. You can spend time moving or working from or on your home. There can be more fighting at home or a sense of wanting to live alone. It can feel as if someone's trying to block you in some way, or maybe even you're blocking yourself in some way. This is a time where it's easier for you or a parent to get injured while home. So be careful of kitchen fires, knives, be more compromising, be less selfish, avoid being overly bossy and demanding to those around you. But do pay attention to what is being triggered now, as it's brought up for you to heal, and it's brought up to your attention for a reason, because this is an area where you want freedom. You've been wanting freedom in this area and liberation in this area since 2018. So this is a period where this is triggered for you. It's being brought up to your attention again. But there can also be more violence and action in your place of birth, where you were born, your ancestral roots, or just your home and its location. Mars will ingress into Gemini on the 20th of July. Okay, yes, in your fifth house of children, which can enhance leadership ability, your drive for power and control, and the urge to succeed can increase. You could start a new relationship at this time, or be more sexual or more romantic, more expressive. It's good to work on a relationship and try new exciting things to spice it up if you're in a committed relationship. This is a time where you could take action on a political, view of some kind, or some kind of act towards humanity, or just towards your own freedom. You can partake in sport of some kind. You could start your own business or move your creative hobby into a more serious side hustle. It's also a time where you can be, there can be more conflict with a child, or arguments about a child or with a child, and also the possibilities of accidents with them. They could be going through hormonal developments at this time. And it's also more possible that you're more nitpicky with children, or even on your own creative work. But you'll be much more attentive to detail now. You'll be able to really cross those T's, work hard on getting your own baby, your own business off the ground, if that's what you're doing, or pushing it forward. This is a good time to avoid being too judgmental and to become very aware of that, and remind children to be safe. Spend more time with your children. It's good for you, it's good for them, or around children if you don't have any. A child may require more attention or help with more work. In some cases, a child could be starting a job. There's more possibility now also for more sexual experiences. You can get pregnant. So if you don't want that, be more careful. It's a time where you can start a new relationship, meet someone new, or have the opportunity to work, Mars, on your love relationship. That's maybe a committed one. Taking action here and just having more fun. Create art. Mars will ingress into Cancer, your 6th house of health, on the 4th of September, and can bring arguments and discord in close one-on-one connections. You can experience more selfishness or competitiveness in your day-to-day work routines and with colleagues. You can use this time to work on the relationship with those in your immediate environment, at work, in your office. But it's better right now to tackle projects more independently if you can, as Mars here can make you it can just make it more difficult to get along with others, especially group environments. In some cases, this can end certain relationships. In some cases, this can indicate accidents at work, especially if you work with machinery. It can be the end or the beginning or the change in your day job, or a routine that you do regularly. You could be more prone to overworking and be more susceptible for inflammation or health issues. And it may be better to try an alternative health option now if something pops up in regards to your health. If you overwork now and you do not create balance in your day-to-day, the stress will manifest in your physical body. So take better care of your health, exercise, purify what you're eating, do research on your nutrition, try a new workout routine, make it consistent. This is more of a mind, body, soul, and holistic type of energy you want to bring in. So stay away from sugar, think before you act and operate machinery, and stand up for yourself if you need to. Don't be your own enemy. But again, with Pluto coming to your 1st house and Mars ingressing into your health house, this is when you really want to pay attention to your health routines. I'm just going to take a sip of my tea. Now Mars will ingress into Leo, your 7th house of relationships, on the 3rd of November. And Mars here gives more of a future-oriented drive, freedom and adventure seeking, and can bring up arguments and discord in close one-on-one connections or spousal relations as well. You can experience more selfishness or competitiveness here, conflict, or you can use this time to work on the relationship or on a project while working on the relationship and your communication with each other. In some cases, you can break up. In some other cases, you can start a new relationship that's more physical or with a more middle-aged, mature person. In some cases, this can indicate legal action. Regardless, the tendency to act against your own best interest with Mars here can rear its head. So take better care of your health and think before you act or operate any machinery, as this is opposing your first house that also deals with your body and your physical health. Now, the retrogrades, I'll only be covering personal planets in the summary, including the eclipses, as I will go over the major aspects and transits more throughout the year as they unfold. I always used to incorporate them here, especially with Mars. I would say, you know, Mars is going to oppose Pluto, or it's going to conjunct Pluto, or it's going to square this or that. But it's just become too much information, I feel, for a lot of people. So I stick to the bones with this now, and then I'll go into more detail as the year unfolds. But Mercury will retrograde in all fire signs this year: Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. And it'll also be briefly in Virgo before it retrogrades into Leo as well. Now, Mercury will retrograde in your third house of Aries from the 1st to the 25th of April, from 27 degrees Aries to 15 degrees Aries. The spotlight is on your modes of communication, transportation, your mental processes. Your mental energy could be very intense at this time, very active. Sometimes you can have more nervous tension, you can have more worry. So it's crucial to really make quiet time for yourself to gain clarity. But it's a great time to delve into existing knowledge, to go over something, to improve something, to re-study something, to retake a test, to get extra information, do more research on something. It's a great time for that. It's also a time where you want to check into your car's maintenance. And you want to make sure you back up your files. You don't purchase a new phone or new electronics with Mercury retrograde here. And in your interactions, you want to ask questions to make sure there's clarity, to make sure the person received your email, that they understood what you said in it. Same with yourself, that you understand people properly. You can find that your schedule is more disrupted. You know, appointments are changed. So you want to make sure that you're more flexible, and that if you go on any short trips or anything like that, that you have everything backed up with insurance, that it's changeable and refundable, that you write things down, make little lists so you're more on top of your things for the day, because you can become forgetful with this. People can just kind of lose their mind a little bit with this transit. You can diffuse potential arguments by refraining from making promises that you can't uphold. And this is also a time where siblings or neighbors or friends from the past can somehow just pop into your life again. Sometimes it's in order for you to get over something, to forgive. Sometimes it's there to bring something to your attention that maybe you've grown from, or that you can grow from, in order for your relationships of this sort to improve and to move into more healthier areas going forward. Now, Mercury will also retrograde in your 8th and 7th houses of Virgo and Leo from the 5th to the 28th of August, from 4 degrees Virgo to 21 degrees Leo. Now, while in your 8th house of Virgo, in the realm of shared resources, Mercury here wants you to assess whether you're receiving and contributing equally in your relationships. This period is an opportunity to really reconsider your wealth, your investments, your property, your joint accounts, your debt. Maybe you need to renew your insurance. Maybe you need to not take out any loans right now, or try to not make any more debt, to prioritize settling your debts and taxes, to kind of fine tune your jointly held resources. It's not a great time for loans or mortgages or new investments. You want to wait till Mercury is direct. But it's a time where you can really discuss a lot of intimate matters, and you can get more close to your partner. You can really deal on a psychological level with past traumas and work through that. Go for therapy, talk it out. This is a time where you're encouraged to remove the old, and promote like a mental purification, a mental cleanse. You can also discover secrets, or, this is also a time where you could discover someone was cheating on you, or there was some kind of betrayal, or some kind of information in a lawsuit that you didn't have all the info. But it's also a time that's very conducive to psychoanalysis and various forms of occult sciences and healing of all kinds. And also, spending time really thinking about life after death, the more deeper sides to life. Now, while in your 9th house of Leo, this is a time where you may want to reevaluate your worldview, and where you recognize that your beliefs are shaping your experiences, and you could be considering and reconsidering your future, and what you want to put out in the world. Are you walking your talk? Maybe you want to publish something, but you need to really go over it now. This is a great time to cross the T's, proofread your work, do extra research on information you want to disseminate, reflect on your overarching life philosophy, and assess if you're in alignment with it. Is it still resonating with you? You could grow in huge ways here on the spiritual level. You can have epiphanies and prophetic dreams. This is also a time where you can rewrite exams or have to redo assignments if you're in education. You may want to revise or edit or rewrite something or proofread something. It's a great time to explore literature that challenges your perspectives on the world and that prompts a broader exploration intellectually. You might sense that you're a little bit more disconnected from the bigger picture, and that you're focused on quite a lot of the little things, having you to pull back a bit before you can press forward, re-envisioning where you are going and where you are searching. This is a great time to also consider revisiting a specific location. But of course, travel plans would need to be flexible and refundable and all of those things. But this is a time where you may want a moment of stillness to just gain clarity on your current position, so that you can get a clearer vision on where you're moving towards in your future. But this is an area of life that's closely tied to faith, your trust in yourself, in your higher mind, a higher power. This is your God house. This is where you pray. This is where you connect with Him. And recognize that unquestioning faith can be restrictive. This is a time where you are definitely seeking deeper understanding. Now, Mercury will retrograde in your 11th house of Sagittarius from the 25th of November till the 15th of December 2024, from 22 degrees Sag to 6 degrees Sagittarius. And before I continue on to this 11th house, where retrograded in your 9th house, this can also be a period if there's any lawsuits going on or you're dealing with legalities of some kind, where you don't want to proceed or sign contracts or anything until Mercury goes retrograde. But it is a good time to go over that paperwork, or to maybe go over immigration paperwork or regarding to property overseas or anything like that you want to fine comb and really go over to see if there's any mistakes or anything you may have missed. And then you want to delay that signature until Mercury is direct. I will continue with Mercury retrograde in your 11th house of Sagittarius. Now, this is usually a very good time for a reunion with older friends, or you can have, online connections or old friends or affiliations to groups or political connections that you had in the past that can just sort of come out of nowhere into your world again. This is also a time where you can feel that you want to withdraw from social media or from just the social scene, or you want to take a step back from hanging out socially, whether by your own choice or by just circumstances. Maybe you're just way more focused on going over where you are heading towards in the future, reassessing your goals and your hopes and dreams. This can be a time where you want to be more alone so that you can rediscover your individual identity away from others. You're maybe reconsidering your connections, your friends, the groups you belong to, your political affiliations. You could be redoing an exam or something that's got to do with getting your master's, or writing a thesis, or just getting a certification for something, reapplying for some kind of paperwork. There can be misunderstandings with friends now. There can be gossip and rumors. So try not to speak behind anyone else's back, as it can come around. But this might be one of the reasons why you might be reevaluating your connections with others, as this could be happening to you. But this aids in discerning genuine friendships and understanding the dynamics of your social circles. It also serves as a reminder that individuals make their own choices. But this house is connected to your goals and dreams. So use this time to, look at past aspirations for inspiration about the future. Explore networks, align your objectives, and prioritize and reprioritize so that you can start contributing to your goals. Now, Mars will retrograde in Leo from December 6, 2024 to 23 February 2025. Now, Mars usually represents energy, drive, and the pursuit of goals. And when it goes backwards, this dynamic energy turns inward. People may find themselves doubting their wishes, aspirations, and plans. This phase invites a re-examination of the direction one is going in, allowing for a more mindful approach to reaching your goals. The backward motion reminds us that slowing down and revising our strategies are as important as moving forward. How do you spend your time? How much do you actually enjoy your work? Where do you need to have more fun or less fun? Do you want to do something about what you do for work? Do you want to change things? Topics involving children can also appear. During Mars retrograde in Leo, our actions become more spontaneous, yet reflective. This period prompts you to utilize your exceptional synthesis skills, enhancing your effectiveness of your endeavors. And as a result, you may exhibit less passion, but you'll gain composure and you'll become more efficient in your actions. Earlier this year, in August, Mercury also retrograded in Leo, and Venus did in 2023. So, what have you learned of this area of your chart? Now, Leo deals with creativity, it deals with love affairs, it deals with romance, children, loyalty, honor, self employment, money, politics, gambling, taking risks, self expression, freedom, your rights, your sovereignty, and fun and joy and confidence. But for you, this is also in your seventh house. So it adds the area of one on one relationships, your spouse, partnerships in business or personal, your relationship with the public, open enemies, your opposition, consultants, a lawyer, or someone that you are needing for some kind of consultation, and so forth. Now, eclipses with the nodes in Aries and Libra, the focus shifts from the partnership dynamic to an exploration of individual identity. The call is to stand up for our rights without losing our sense of self. The emphasis is on recognizing ourselves first as unique individuals. As Pluto ingresses into Aquarius, it amplifies our unique differences within the context of humanity. The North Node in Aries urges us to protect our individuality in the face of these cosmic shifts. I will be covering these eclipses more in depth throughout the year, therefore I will just mention them at this time. Now, March 25th, there will be a Libra Lunar Eclipse full moon at 5 degrees of Libra. This is an ending or culmination or fruition of sorts, something coming into its ripeness in your ninth house of higher learning, travel, foreign connections, publishing, the law, your faith and values, philosophy on life, the father, and the in-laws. On April 8th, there will be an Aries Solar Eclipse new moon at 19 degrees. This is the eclipse to watch for the year, in my opinion. A new beginning or seed of intention in your third house of siblings, neighbors, friends, your commute, your vehicle, your mind, your mental processes, skills, language, short trips, your immediate environment, neighborhood, electronics, buy and sell, and daily routines and schedules. September 17th, there is a Pisces lunar eclipse full moon at 25 degrees of Pisces. This is the first eclipse in the Pisces-Virgo axis transition that we will be in as of 2025. A closing out, or an ending, or fullness, or completion. This is in your second house of finances, work, self-worth, possessions, confidence, what you eat, your throat, your thyroid, your jaw, your lower teeth, family, committed relationships, skills, property, investments, and did I say lower jaw? I think I did. Okay, October 2nd, Libra Solar Eclipse new moon at 10 degrees. A new beginning or seed of intention by letting go of something. Now, this eclipse is connected to the lunar eclipse of March in your ninth house, where this is now the solar eclipse. So there was an ending in March in this area. Now there's a beginning in the same area, ninth house, of higher learning, travel, foreign connections, publishing, the law, your faith and values, philosophy on life, etc., and foreign influences, and the father or the in laws. Well, thank you for listening, Aquarius rising. You are rethinking your partnerships and the relation between your inner and outer worlds, reprioritizing your future goals and those you affiliate with, getting clear on how you communicate and revising your skills. Breakthroughs are possible now in your faith, in your family, and what you consider home to be. Deep realizations are possible regarding your physical health, with the power to purify and transform darkness into light. You can also check out my consultations and offerings on my website, which includes the Wild Apothecary. I also have the link to my 2024 Astrology Mundane highlights video below. May the sun shine bright on you this day. May 2024 be filled with blessings coming your way. Until next time, please like, share, and subscribe where you can.